Sausage roll. Hello everybody, welcome back. Leeds United 3, Sheffield Wednesday 0, as you can tell. Apologies for the content difference today. Coming back from ER and not able to get an instant match reaction out to you guys, but we'll be doing a fan forum at around about 4 o'clock, which I'm looking forward to. A lot of the lads are coming back on, so buzzing for that one. As I crossed and nearly killed myself here. But yeah, really good result for Leeds. At one point, I'll be honest with you, I thought it was gonna end up 1-1. They were coming forward. I thought Leeds lacked just a little bit of intensity. If I'm being brutally honest, in that game, it was a little bit flat, but scored. And when you score, you make it obviously difficult for your opponents to get back into it. 2 minutes in, we all want that fast start, don't we? We all want the start, which is going to get Leeds going, and that's always the thing that we said before these games. It's can we get going quickly, you know? And we have got going quickly. Leeds scoring within about 3 minutes, but I thought the tempo then quelled a little bit. I thought Sheffield Wednesday, in all fairness to them, started coming forward a little bit. I think the system that they play, which was a 3-4-2-1 in this game, I thought really worked. I thought they were right in the game. They were closing the passing lanes for Leeds United. Individual problems for me though sometimes when Leeds are in these little holes, in these little pockets where we can hurt the opposition. Brendan Aronson in particular was a thorn, not just for me in the ground, but for every single other person in and around me who at some stages Brendan has that ball. He takes the third, the fourth, the fifth touch after he makes that half turn, after he's on the half turn, drives into the midfield, and then it's always an extra touch. It's always, he gives the defender an opportunity to get back in. And for all those people who don't say wingers can be number 10, all you need to do really is be on that half turn, be able to travel with the ball, be able to release the ball quickly with what Brendan Aronson does. You don't have to be perfect. Don't be telling me those wingers can't do that role. Ridiculous. But I think it was crying out for Ramazani, the game. We lacked a little bit of pace, a little bit of dynamism for me in that attacking third. It was screaming out for him, and when he came on, what a difference he made. What a difference he made. That left foot, he can use both, can't he? Pure striker of the ball. Mentioned on the channel, you give him a few more minutes, that's what he's going to do. He's your X factor. He's arguably, and I keep saying this, but top 2 player in this team, top 2 player in this division when it comes to natural ability. He's so good. So Ramazani simply has to start getting more minutes. But you know, when you're looking at it overall, was it the most complete performance? No, it wasn't by Leeds United, but a 3-0 win in a Yorkshire derby, of which has produced 0-0 last year. It's produced 1-0 Harrison under Marcelo Bielsa. Obviously the away games have been a little bit different. Leeds sort of dismantling them earlier on in the season where I thought it was easy. Bearing in mind who's in the 10 that game as well, Willie Gnonto, and he ripped them apart. But I thought, you know, even in those spaces during that game, the amount of times Solomon, when you're at the ground, you see it, who occupies that number 10 role, he just naturally loves to invert into there. Ramazani, the goal came from that position, that central position, both goals. And he's picking up, it's what you don't see when you're at home and you're watching it. And you can respect that a lot more. Obviously, when you're at the game, you can see it develop a little bit in different stages. You know, Ramazani's naturally drifting into that central role a little bit when he gets the ball and then drifts in centrally. Obviously, he's inverting, but he picks up that 10 space as well because he wants to get involved in the game, and he can get involved in the game. When he gets involved in the game, which you do more in a central position, that's why you get wingers taking up that space a little bit more. That's always going to be more advantageous for the player and Leeds United, because you've got a good player, technically gifted player in that number 10. But listen, overall, Peru, not great, not good outing. Again, there's no point in having this chat again, is there? Because, it is what it is. Joseph, when he came on, thought there was a little bit of hustle and bustle. Had a good drive, won a free kick, which Elia Gruev put into Rose Ed. But yeah, the strikers, both of them, when they played today, weren't amazing. But then strikes out scoring goals. You win the game, and guess what? You've scored 3 goals, which puts us up to 51 goals. Do you know what I mean, guys? Like all this all this absolute, nonsense for me. You have to go and get a number 9. You have to do it. But once again, we've just scored 3 goals. So why do we have to go and get a number 9? You've now got that ability to bring a player off the bench in Ramazani. You've got Nonso. The bench today was outrageous. It's an outrageous bench. Schmidt, Verba, Gilavoggi, Nonso, Ramazani, Joseph. There's no excuse for the manager to not get this team promoted. And I ain't having it. I'm not having it on this channel anywhere. The team has to be promoted this season. The team is more than good enough. And by the way, we sat with a portion of people today. We're speaking to a lot of people in and around the ground. Hello to everyone who came up to me as well. Very, very nice. Very humbled always. But all of you were saying the same thing when you were coming up to me. All of you, he has to get this team promoted. The team is more than good enough. So it's not only just me and you guys who share the same sentiment. Lots of people at the ground. A hell of a lot of people. All having discussion about how this team's more than good enough. Nobody at the ground's panicking about January. Nobody. I was quite surprised. I thought with a few of the lads I was speaking to, someone was going to say to me, Connor, what are you talking about? How are you? I'm not thinking that we can go. Everyone's calm. Everyone was a bit calm under the notion that this team's good enough, and that's what it is. And you kind of get a little bit jittery, in my opinion. Everyone gets a little bit jittery when it's 1-0. You can see Wednesday getting into it, but okay, yeah, some moments, But at the end of the day, you're bringing off Ramazani off the bench, and he does that. And you can't legislate for that. I got a text from James Mappin. Did a podcast with him Wednesday till I die, and he just said, we can't finish for toffee and you're clinical. And that's it. You don't always have to play well. You don't always have to be the best team on the day. But at the end of the day, because of how we've built this squad, you've got a varying amount of players that can go in that number 10. How Brendan Aronson wasn't taken off in that game, I'll never know. Seriously. But you've got 2 players who've demonstrated, in my opinion, that they can play in that role. Ramazani, Solomon, and even Nonso. You got rotations all across the pitch. Melier still looked, in my opinion, shaky in that game. The first couple of balls in that first half, where he came out and punched and completely missed it, and Windass nearly half volleyed it in the back of the net if it wasn't for a great block. It is what it is. We get away with it this time. But what you bring off the bench is a joke. It's ridiculous. It's one of the best championship benches I've ever seen, ever. So yeah, I'm struggling to see. And do you need a 24, 25, 26 who are of a ridiculous level? Or do you need, 15, 16 very good players and the rest of them are squad fillers? That's what you need, because that's all we do. This notion that we're going to be utilising all of the 24, well, it won't be 24, would it? It'd be 28 if we bring more players in, 27, 28, when people are talking about centre-backs coming in, goalkeepers coming in, 10s coming in, 9s coming in, wingers coming in. It's unbelievable with the team that we've got, that we're actually having this as a discussion. Leeds' team right now, more than good enough. Saw that today, that we weren't really on it against a team who'd lost 1 in 6. We're at it today, by the way, playing a very, very good, very structured under Danny Roll. I don't think they've got the personnel. I think that's why it's quite interesting with Danny Roll, if he'd have managed to maybe get the Southampton job potentially in the summer, if that's something they'll be looking at, because obviously he wants this release clause put in his contract now, £5 million. And with better personnel playing that system, they were cutting off Leeds' press, the passing lanes. They did really well against a team who is levels above them in quality wise, and we all know that. So yeah, good result for Leeds today, top of the pile, good goal difference. And just another thing as well, Firpo not in the side, which I didn't like. I think it hinders us massively on that left hand side. I don't mind Byram, he's not Firpo, so I didn't like that selection. If he's on the bench, he's fit enough. Verba as well. Look, Ampadu went at the back. Ampadu was probably one of the better players today. Maybe you wanted to put him in as well with that Sheffield link as well, which is always a little bit tasty against Sheffield Wednesday and Bogle. But yeah, I mean, Verba was down that left hand side, and I thought he could have come in today. Don't think he likes him. That's your options. They're your options. And alongside that, just to add to the pot, if we've been brutally honest, I think that bench gets into 98% of teams starts for 98% of this teams in this division. So if the bench is that good, because also you bring players in, people, you have to move people off the bench. You have to keep them out of the squad. So who's that going to be then? Don't know. Not for me. But as I said, injuries today. Strauch out, Firpo not playing. You've got Byram at left back. You know, you've got Ampadu at the back. So we've got a kind of makeshift back line. Clean sheet, win the game 3-0. Against a team who are 4 points off the playoffs. So it's a good team. It's a good squad. The manager's doing a good job right now. Shout out to him. Thought the subs could have been earlier again. I thought we could have taken their soul away from them. They were there with that transitional element to counter-attack. They were there to be hit so much today, Sheffield Wednesday. But our passing, our precision wasn't great. Didn't think Tanaka and Rothwell were great today. Good to see Grove back, giving us another option in there. Even though you guys know I'm not his biggest fan. But for me, yeah, Leeds are quality at this level. And we simply have to get promoted. The pressure's on, but they dealt with it today in a Yorkshire derby, of which Wednesday were right up for it with everything that had gone on this week with Chansiri and Danny Roll putting in this release clause. So the pressure was kind of on Leeds today. Sheffield United had won, Leeds had to win, and we beat their result against Wednesday by 2. So yeah, cracking finish from Ramazani, who made all the difference in the last minutes. Those transitional moments again, rapid pace, involving him. It's great to see, because I was still getting people on some of my videos saying how crap he was. Bit bizarre. I'm sure they're not saying that anymore. But yeah, the options across the board. Leeds United for me, not good enough today, and we win the game 3-0. You know, how does that work? It's not too bad, is it, people? Listen, we're going to be live at 4. Come join me for the fan forum. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. I'll see you in a bit.